Most people think you have to choose just one, purely photo or video. But when you genuinely want to cover both, that's never an easy decision to make. Most moments only happen once, and it can already be hard enough to get a single shot. So juggling both is still something I'm learning to manage, but over time I've gotten so much better at it. So in this video, I'm breaking down exactly how I do that. I honestly try not to think about photo and video as separate anymore. It's all about just having a repeatable process to make things feel easy and keep them simple. That simplicity also comes down to my approach to gear and the setup I use, which I'll cover in a later section. But in terms of approach, I like to think about capturing what I see and choosing the best way to cover that moment. I tend to think about things like this. Some moments have a peak, that fraction of a second where everything just aligns. It might be light, gesture, composition, and that's always going to be a photo for me. Other moments breathe, they build, they shift, they evolve, and that's often a video. That one distinction removes a lot of decision making. If I'm honest though, I'm still a photographer first. So whenever I'm unsure, I always default to stills. Video is something I just like to layer on top, not the other way around. Perfect example here, one of my favorite shots of this boy on a tram. As he started interacting with me, that moment unfolded super quickly. I focused just on getting the best photo I could, so I locked into my default and made sure at least I walked away with a strong image. As hard as you try, most times you can't simply always be 50-50. In those uncertain moments, having that clear default really makes all the difference. So whether it's photo or video, I don't think it matters, but for me, that will always be stills. I talk about this idea of hunting and fishing a lot on this channel, especially for street photography. So if it's new to you, it is quite simple. Street photography is often broken down into two approaches. Firstly, we have hunting. Now this is reactive, chasing down moments, moving constantly, trying not to miss anything. It can be great for finding photos, but trying to juggle both photo and video like this becomes quite difficult. Fishing is totally different, and to me, often far more suited to this hybrid approach. It's about positioning, reading the scene, letting the moment unfold in front of you. What is the scene actually doing, and what is it that I want to happen? And then just waiting. This moment here, for example, everything was aligned just how I wanted it. The light, the composition, it was ready. I just needed someone to walk into the scene and complete it. The frame still existed without anyone in it, but a stronger photo, I needed that character. So in scenes like this, I'll wait, capture that strongest still possible, then capture some B-roll of that scene once I'm happy with the image first. The video doesn't need to be the peak for me. It can be a lead up or just another moment unfolding in that same space. Now compare that to a scene like this, lots of movement and especially sound. That's something a photo can't fully capture. There's still a photo here, sure, but even when favoring stills, sometimes a scene just demands a video first moment. So I'm never trying to capture everything at once. And honestly, this takes all the pressure off. It gives me a really clear way to approach every single scene. The setup itself is quite simple, and that's what really makes this work. I'm not switching between multiple cameras and never overthinking things. I have one body. It's full frame, the highest quality photo and video, all in one. Everything is dialed in and ready to go. And for me, that's the R5 Mark II. I have my custom modes all set up for both photo and video, and the switch between them takes 2 seconds tops, probably far less. When the friction is low, you stop thinking about the format and you just react to things. My still setup is straightforward. I'm shooting Canon C-RAW and I toggle between a few different AF modes. 90% of the time I'm shooting in aperture priority, probably even more. Fast, reliable, and always ready. For video, I have 3 custom modes for each frame rate, shooting 4K, C-Log2, and the 180-degree shutter rule, all dialed in for each with a preset saved, ready to go. So less thinking, better shooting, and it's really that simple. Also important for video, I do have a few filters I use which work across all my lenses and are magnetic, so I'm often quickly pulling them on and off. The only thing I haven't quite mastered in this setup is a good mic. Although the quality isn't ideal in camera, even smaller microphones I find just get in the way when I'm shooting stills. So I still haven't found a great solution here, but it is still often enough just for that background noise that I will often use for video. So let's see how this plays out in action to see how it works while I'm shooting in Vietnam. Starting here in the market, mostly just warming up, this scene felt more like a video moment with all the movement here in a line, so I captured that first. Then I did quickly switch over to photo, but nothing super exciting. For this next one, I started with a photo. I liked the idea of framing him here between the bikes. This still didn't quite have enough going on, so once he actually lit a cigarette, the scene became slightly more interesting as a video. That small movement of him blowing out the smoke just gave something that the frame was missing. I found a lot of these smaller market scenes where people were packing flowers, bikes moving through, which weren't strong photographs on their own. They definitely had more of that rhythm, so naturally treated a lot of these as video first scenes. This next one is that dynamic type of scene where I'm always going to favor photography. Quick still of these kind of three characters here lined up diagonally across this frame. Some more video first scenes like this top down moment. I was mostly looking for this movement, traffic, that interaction running through the frame. I did try some stills afterwards, but it wasn't until I used a slow shutter like this one here that it showed that motion a little bit better in a photo. Perhaps the opposite here with this barber, I really wanted to get that still first. It had a nice documentary feeling and I wanted to make sure that I had that frame before thinking about the video. So once I was happy here, switching up my orientation as well, I then moved on to capturing a short video clip. Lastly, this reflection on the bike was more of a photo scene. I was trying to catch that expression of his face in the mirror or make something out of that small moment. Once I had that still, I was able to also get a video frame to kind of match that same setup. This is how I work. Nothing huge happened this morning, but hopefully that gives you a clearer idea of approaching and balancing things really intentionally. So here's a little rough cut I put together from that session. Not super polished, but to show you what these decisions actually look like in the end. So that was a quick example edit. My full Vietnam film in this style is coming soon and I'll link it here when it's ready. So that's it. It's not about doing more. It's not about a complicated system or the perfect setup for separating both photo and video. It's more about keeping things simple and understanding what the moment needs. If you want to watch that full cinematic edit, I'll link it here when it's live. Or in the meantime, you can watch this one I edited from South Korea here.